call the Ozark Regional Transit Board Meeting for August to order. This is a packed agenda today, so we're going to try to get through as quickly as possible. First up is announcement of proxies. I do not have any proxies at this time. As for anybody else, okay. Hearing none, next is the adoption of the agenda. Does anybody see any changes that need to be made to the agenda? If there's no dispute on that, I will go ahead and consider it. Next, we have the public comment period. Is there anybody from the public in person or online who would like to make comments at this time? Hearing none, we will move along. Next up is the adoption of the April board meeting minutes. I hope everyone's had a chance to review these. If there's any changes that need to be made to it, go ahead and speak now. Otherwise, do I hear a motion to approve?
Approve.
So moved.
We have a motion. Did I hear a second?
Second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, the minutes have been adopted. Item number 5, we have Repower to Electric Bus presentation by Alan Snyder with the Repower Electric Corporation. Alan?
I'll be the one starting. Alan is here, and I'm Laurent Flogien. We have some slides here. Yeah, so hi, hello everybody. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
So I'm the CEO and co-founder of Fuel for Electric. I'm here with John Wilson, my business partner and mentor, I should say. I want to say some words.
So I'm John Wilson. You all might know Presidential Conversions. I'm the owner of Presidential Conversions, been in Fayetteville for 40 years. And so I've been in the mobility business for years and years, doing mobility vans for people with disabilities. So Laurent's brother is my son-in-law, so it's a family thing. Fuels Electric is, and we're very fortunate to be associated with Repower, and that's it.
Yeah, so in the room we also have Alan Snyder, who's the CEO of Repower. He will be presenting all the details about the bus and the kits, the Repower kits that his company provides. Before we talk about Repower, we're going to have a quick introduction, some words about Fuel to Electric. We created the company in 2022, and since we've built a large network of EV conversion professionals, that includes EV conversion specialists, kit manufacturers just like Repower, and also installers. The big idea behind Fuel to Electric is very straightforward. Any gas, diesel powered vehicle can be transformed into a clean and reliable electric vehicle. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. Most of the vehicles on the road can be converted to electric and for a way lower cost than a brand new electric vehicle. We are, just like John said, we are based in Fayetteville, so having this demo here was very an easy decision to make. So we connected with ORT and we organized this demo bus, the one that you just saw in the video. If we move to the next slide, you can see more about the experience ORT had the last 3 days. So since Monday, Andy from dispatch drove the 2 first day. We can see him here driving in Springdale. I think it was the route 61 or 62. 62. He was also replaced with 2 other drivers yesterday. The test drive all in all went pretty good. Matt, the technician that is here in the back, was always there helping collecting data for the rest of the presentation with Alan. They ghosted the regular bus. They open and close the door, turn on the lights, AC, heater, and the range was surprisingly higher than what we expected. So that's really good news. Here you have some quick words about impressions of the people who drove it. It drives really good. Regen braking was also interesting to experience, and it's a lot quieter. Now, with no further ado, I will let Al present the rest.
All right, thank you very much, Laurent. Thank you, John, and thanks for the ability to come down here in Northwest Arkansas and meet with Joel. The relationship that John and Joel have goes back a ways. Really appreciate Joel, you allowing us to come in and demo the bus. You know, that was a big deal. So I'm just going to do a quick presentation on our company, on the product, and hopefully give it a little bit of time in the agenda, maybe 5 minutes for questions and answers. So if you give me next slide there, big guy. So one of the things that we're doing very differently than anyone else in the industry around EV is our model is we're kind of like Intel inside. So we build a kit that fits inside these shuttle buses, primarily focused in your space on microtransit and paratransit. They're the cutaways, the E450, the E350. We can put them in any bus. It doesn't matter who puts the bus on the back, Starcraft, Laval, or Diamond, or whatever. We sell our kits through the dealers. And this is what differentiates us. We want, I mean, you know the dealers. When I asked Joe, who do you buy your bus from? He's put it out just like that. He knows and he trusts them. And they've been around a long time. There are companies like Masters Transportation up in Kansas City, Central States, Shetke Bus in the Northwest, Colonial in Maryland, Fueled Electric. They're helping us as brokers to get the right connections. But we always sell our buses through those our kits through those dealers in a bus. That's how we go to market. They do the installs. They put them in. They give you their brand guarantee, and we warranty our bus and our parts to them, and they do the service. Now, if you want to do service, we also offer free training. We give you all the diagnostics. If you remember some of the EV companies that maybe were sitting along chain link fences from years ago because they went out of business, they tried to build a complete bus. It's very, very costly. And then they wouldn't turn the diagnostics information over to the service organization, so you couldn't fix them. We're just the opposite. We make everything available. So how we go to market then is you can buy it in a new bus from Masters or Central States. You can do a refurb bus. Maybe many of you have seen Masters' $72 million plant they just released in Kansas City or just went into. They will pull a bus out of inventory, refurb that bus, interior, exterior, bring it up DOT standards, and put our kit in it. The most cost-effective way, and this is the real breakthrough in the industry, is you can take a bus you're already running, maybe it has a engine or transmission problem, or you just want to save about 70% less operating and maintenance costs. Typically, that's what we see. We can convert that bus at one of our dealers, and we can do it in 5 days. Actually, Masters came out when we trained them, and their techs were able to do it in 3.5 days. So it's a kit, very simple, very straightforward. I'm hoping the rain lets up enough that we can show it to you because the technology is quite amazing. Next slide. The other thing, while he's flipping slides there, you know, our kit is actually 200 pounds less. So if you convert an OEM E350, the bus ends up with our standard range kit at about 200 pounds less. So there's no impact to payload. We don't weld, we don't drill, we don't cut. It all bolts into the factory mounts on the vehicle. It's a 3-piece kit. That's the actual kit you see there. The CAD drawing from our engineers are up in the right. That's kind of what it looks like. But the actual kit is the battery, which is number one. And our engineers, we have some of the best battery engineers in the industry. We worked with Arizona State University, their chem department, to come up with this design, and LG Chem out of South Korea. The battery system has the industry's leading gravimetric and volumetric density. So that allows us to really pack it in there, and we set that battery right where the engine was. So it mounts right to the motor mounts of the engine. front of that is the cooling system, which goes where the radiator is, specialized cooling system. And behind it is a cradle. Everything you see there in number 3 comes in one uniformed cradle that bolts up where the transmission is or was, and it connects directly to the drive shaft. So you can put it in very easily. It's very easy to service. The compressors, the pumps, the valves, everything's on that cradle that allows you to run the air conditioner, the heaters, everything in the bus that was originally in the bus, the ADA system, all that operates exactly as it was with an OEM system. Okay, next slide. This is the next generation kit, and this is probably the right kit to target for Joel's operation. Our first generation kit, we marketed it as 60 miles on a single charge. We actually did 73 in the bus we had here on your Route 62, and we had 9% left. So we would have done about 80 miles, which is kind of what we expected, and performed quite well. This next generation kit, it will be the same modular design, same battery sitting in the front. We did some additional work with the university and our engineering team to even get more efficiency out of it, and lower weight, lower cost. The radiator, the cooling system will sit behind the grill. And then this is the new cradle. And where the transmission is where the second battery will be. It kind of looks like a mini blow-up mattress, short kind of mattress sits right there. And behind that is the motor and the reducer, and that will connect to the back drive shaft on the vehicle. And this kit, we are targeting it and marketing it as 120 miles. The first prototype we ran, we loaded it up with 2,000 pounds and drove 163 miles. So when we, we're in the procurement process with the first articles now for a customer that bought a bus through Masters in LA. And we'll have that operational here in September, and it'll be commercially available in October in the market. We also increased the charge rate for our fast charger. So the way our bus is charged, you can plug them in as Joel did out here in a 50 amp circuit, just like an RV, same plug, and it'll charge overnight 100%. But we have a fast charger where you can go into any commercial fast charger and charge the bus. And the bus we have here is a roughly 50 kilowatt charger. We're putting a 150 kilowatt charger in the new bus. So with about a 30-minute charge on a fast charger, if you have the infrastructure, you get about 200 miles out of the bus. So this is coming out, as I mentioned, the end of the month. Next slide there, Kendall. So this is another thing that we've done. We really tried to address the entire design as a complete system. So we have software that can touch every single point in that original OEM bus. So we can control the console, we can control the dashboard, we control all the lights, everything on it, and we collect all that data real time, as well as all the EV, electric vehicle data. This is an example of actually the run the first day that we ran the bus on the route. And you can see the kind of data you can collect. We went 74 miles. When they brought it back into the maintenance shed here, we had 9% remaining. We got about 1.1, 1.2 miles per kilowatt. So we could have put another 10 miles on the bus. We also built into the bus a safety range. So when the driver does hit zero, there's still range. It's not like the thing just shuts off. He's got a little, just like your low fuel warning on your car. We have that built into it. We collect all those things down the side. You probably can't see them, but everything about the battery, the regen. It was fascinating to me yesterday. Andy was a natural EV driver, I would say. He used regen, one pedal driving. It was like, must have on a Tesla, I don't know, but he kind of got it. The driver yesterday, a little bit more heavier in the foot. It's fun to drive, and we can control what kind of torque and how fast it goes. But so we set it to the average, and he did a little less performance. And you can actually use it to monitor the performance of your driver. And you can monitor exactly where the bus is. If we pulled this real time, you see those little squigglies? That's the route. You can blow that up as big as you want. You can see where the bus is, where it's parked. You see the question mark there? That's where we put some of the passengers off the ICE bus that had some issues, and they sat in the bus in air conditioning. And of course, we didn't collect any data during that time, but we were able to keep them nice and cool and still make our route. At the bottom there, you see the odometer, and this was a 28-mile snapshot I took of the 74. We can do state of charge. So Joel could literally sit here, or the maintenance manager could sit here and see where the bus is, know what the state of charge is, if there's any issue, exactly where it is. Is the driver using regen? Should we put a little bit more training with the drivers to get this? You use regen, you don't use brakes. And that's the real benefit of this thing. Besides the clean environment, we're seeing between 70 and 80% lower cost of maintenance and operations on the bus. We ran the calculations on Joel's operation here on this particular route and bus. And our first run, Joel, we had 10,000. We realized we didn't have all the maintenance in. So it's about $16,000 a year with the data we have. And Tyler, who runs our sales organization, he has calculators that can nail that for you. We put it in there and it'll tell you how much savings you have and how many routes you make, how many miles you'll make in a day. If you have wait time, it calculates the parasitic draw, air conditioners, heaters, those types of things. So we really took a holistic, systemic approach to the product, and then doing it through our partners so that you get the brand of a Masters or Shetke, or in your case, Central States, So, okay, next slide there. So there's just kind of some of the data on it. This is kind of life cycle savings of a Ford E450. You wouldn't see quite this much. This was done on California gasoline standards. You have the benefit of having $2.34 gas versus $5.34. So it's not quite this good, but it's generally the same direction. In this case, this customer was seeing $25,000 a year savings. This is comparing an uplifted bus against the retrofit, which is clearly the most cost-effective way to go in the system. Okay. All right. Well, let me just stop there. I promised Joel I'd do it in 10 minutes, and let me just take questions. Any thoughts on it?
How this question's for Joel. The 120 to 150 mile range, how does that compare to what the average bus drives in a day?
Right now, Kendall can actually state it better, but we're averaging probably about 227 miles a day.
So it would need a charge somewhere.
Yeah, about a 15-minute, 10-minute charge.
At level 3?
At a DC fast charge, 150 kilowatt, and then you'll easily make that route.
Okay. Are you familiar with Act 924 that the Arkansas legislature passed this last
Joel
legislature?
mentioned it a little bit, and we talked about it yesterday. I'm not intimately familiar with it, but I know what you're talking about.
So the gist of the legislation is that it requires a governmental entity that buys an EV, electric vehicle, or an electric vehicle component to secure a certified statement from the vendor stating that there's no forced labor involved in any of the components of the EV or EV manufacturing, mainly targeting batteries.
Yeah.
I think is the focus. So I guess my question is, are you able to provide that?
We are, in fact, the Buy America certificate, which essentially is that whole qualification process, and you have to have 70% of the components bought, built here, et cetera, et cetera. We are Buy America compliant. We're also doing this fall an Altoona test on the kit, and that'll happen. When you go through Altoona with something like this, you don't have to do the whole bus because the bus itself is already Altoona certified, StarCraft as an example.
Right.
But you do have to get a certificate on the kit. And we're in the process. Our paperwork's in. We're just waiting to get them scheduled now to do that.
Okay.
So Buy America, Altoona certified, and
I'm familiar with Altoona.
Altoona.
Altoona, Pennsylvania is a test ground that was brought into play 1976, somewhere around there, that all FTA, maybe 78, All FTA vehicles have to go through, and it's a tilt test, a speed test, everything, water test, heat test, to make sure that the bus will survive the performance on the road. So Altoona, the Altoona test is based off of the city Altoona, Pennsylvania, where the test ground is, and every vehicle that is going to be FTA certified or FTA allowed to be purchased has to go through the Altoona
Okay,
testing.
I'm not sure I don't think that satisfies
No,
this.
it doesn't.
And I don't
No,
think,
Peter, our batteries do meet the Arkansas Act 429 regulation. They're LG batteries. And they meet the Act 429 regulations. So we can be clear on what you're,
924.
Act 429. 924.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, our batteries currently are,
There's some fine print in there on the sworn statement that
Sure.
yeah, well,
has to be provided in order.
I will make sure we go back and legally make sure that we have that. I'm very certain we will because of the way we've done it and all the other agencies that we looked at, California, we do have CARB certification, if you're familiar with the California Air Resource Board. The 13 CARB states have all signed up for it. We have an EO on that, an executive order on that, and they put you through unbelievable scrutiny.
I'm fairly certain this Arkansas law was not modeled after anything in California.
I'm sure. You're probably right.
Yeah.
But we will take the action.
It's unique.
Yeah, what I'll do, Joel, is I'll send you a letter confirming that we have everything we need to be fully certified. I don't know what the process is yet, but.
And with that, I mean, on that Arkansas law, comes I'll say a personal bill to me, to Mindy, to anybody else who is in the bidding process, where if it is found that the granular lithium that is in the battery that you have provided was mined by the hands of small children, forced children, Uyghur labor, that kind of thing, I get the personal fine of about 10,000. Mindy gets a fine of 10,000. Anybody that had their hands, if Karen helps out with the bidding process, she gets a fine of 10,000, and the company gets a huge fine. Yeah, what do you got, Ross?
So not only personally, every one of you on the board, but you also have to pay the state back the purchase price of the vehicle.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we'll make sure, and I can tell you for certain they're not. LG's a very high quality company. We buy ours out of Poland. They are moving it to Michigan.
Right.
And we're gonna be buying them, out of the Michigan plant when they get it up and running. We are multi-sourcing it now. I've got, honestly, if you really dig into EVs, I think Panasonic is gonna emerge as one of the leaders, and they're doing it in the Midwest as well. And I think over time, we'll probably switch over to them. We want to stay on the leading edge, not the bleeding edge of this battery technology. And, a little story on it. LG came over with theirs and looked at what we wanted to do, and they said, you can't do it. And, the South Korean engineers are really good. I mean, these guys are super smart. We brought them over and brought them in with Arizona State University, the chemistry department. They spent 2 weeks with their top engineers on site. And they go, you can do what you're doing. I think you guys can pull this off. And we did. We're IP67 tested, drop tested at 3 meters. The product is rock solid. And we're going to just continue to drive that. I'm absolutely committed to Buy America and making all those standards. So I'll follow up with a specific response to that law. And thanks for flagging it. Joe did yesterday.
We'll make sure we're completely covered.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. No, I don't want to pay my fines either.
The name of the game is keep Joel out of jail.
Yeah, that's it.
And I'm gonna be kept out of jail.
It does look all right in stride.
Yeah.
It actually benefits us. I mean, there are some like Tarzan, some of the other, Turkish and then there's BYD and all the whole China, entourage that brings vehicles in, and it benefits us. I mean, we're about 50% of the cost for our converted bus in a 450 class bus than the nearest competition, which Optimal and Dara, you know who they are.
Mhm.
So tremendous savings on a new bus, even more so on a retrofitted bus. and we've got speed and quality.
Tim, what do you got?
Uh, charging stations, how much are they? How many do you need? And finally, are there in travel throughout the day, are there any charging stations in any of the 4 cities that they can stop at?
Not yet.
Okay.
How much are they? I was gonna do 17 stations for roughly $17 million under the CFI grant. That includes everything from, new dirt work to final grass work and lighting at the end. And along the route, we don't have any charging stations to test. That we thought we were gonna be able to utilize the one in Springdale in front of Harps. That one appears to be down at this point in time. So I don't have, charging stations along the routes at this point in time. That would have to be a precursor to any type of purchase of, electric vehicles, that we use in service.
Oh, Matt just informed me he did find one that was how far from the route, Matt? 3 miles from the route that we used and charged, and it worked. And
Okay.
it was was it 125 kilowatt or 150?
It was 150.
150 kilowatt charger. Again, what we did with the bus that we drove around here has a 80 kilowatt peak, 50 kilowatt average. The new one that you would buy with the extended range would have 150 kilowatt. 150 kilowatt for a 30-minute charge is gonna get you 75 incremental miles. You know, so you're gonna get about 30, 40 miles out of a 15-minute charge. So we could use that one temporarily, but Joel's spot on. We would highly recommend. We have some great partners, and I think you could find that they'll beat that price. I mean, I know you've done your due diligence and you looked at it, but things are really changing. Some of the partners now that we have, they'll come in and actually take everything from womb to tomb on the bid. And there's a lot of incentives out now from the energy companies to do it. I don't know exactly what Arkansas has. I'm sure there's some. I think I saw one notification, Ozark Energy or somebody was putting some grants behind it. But that price is coming down. Maybe a blessing that they put it on hold when you actually get it released. You might be able to do it for a lot less. But the nice thing is you could start with, one charger with 4 ports on it, and you could do 4 buses, in this location. And then depending on the route, one of the things we try not to tell you is, you got to change your operations because your operations, you know how you run. But with the bus switch that you do in the hot seat, it's very possible if you give them 15-minute break, you could hit your mileage, no problem at all, on that, at least that route. So, and we'll help you map all that out. We've got a really good calculator that Tyler punches all the data in. It says, this is where, what you'll get. And if you charge it at 50%, which actually works ideal because of the way you run operations, it charges very fast.
Right.
The secret to not have fires, not have problems with the batteries is managing the thermal characteristics of that battery as it discharges and as you recharge it. And that's where we have 20 patent pendings on the system. 4 of them already issued, 1 of them around thermal management, another one around packaging. We manage that, and if you charge anywhere between 40 and 60%, it goes real fast. So I think, when we sit down, when you make the decision, if you make the decision, we'll sit down and lay that out. We'll map out the chargers. Our partners also know where they're coming in, and they'll often come into a city and help a city, get commercial level chargers out that are available. They have things like they'll actually pay you, some of the charger companies, you'll have a dedicated port for commercial use. But if you use the other ports on the charger, then you get revenue back to the city. And so those kinds of features are available out there. And it's kind of a good thing for the public with their Teslas and Rivians, but it also protects you, making sure you have a charger when you pull in. Okay, great question, Tim. Thank you. Other questions? All right, well, we're really hoping that the rain stops. We got the bus out there. We'd like to show it to you and hopefully be able to do a ride after your board meeting. And we'll be waiting, and appreciate the time. And thank you so much again,
Yes, sir.
sir, for the time.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have the North Arkansas Regional Planning.
Could I ask one more question?
Yes, sir.
I was curious, Joel, If you could give us a brief update on the federal grant for the charging stations.
Yeah, I'll, that was
Is that later in the agenda?
that was on the, executive director's
That's
report.
fine, we can wait.
But it's this easy. The CFI grant has been put on perpetual hold. There is no new information from FHWA. I can't get them to crack on anything.
Perpetual hold, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
All right, thanks. I'm gonna give an update on two of the grants that Regional Planning Commission is working on. The first is the Areas of Persistent Poverty, FTA Design and Engineering for Bus Stop Enhancements. Olson, the consultant working on the project, has completed 50% designs on all the stops. I've seen them, and Olson should be, if they haven't already, contacting the cities momentarily to review those and comment on what they've done. And then once those comments are incorporated, they'll continue on to the end. Expecting completion of all those designs finalized by end of November, early December. And there'll be cost estimates for the improvements associated with that final.
Remind us how many stops?
15 to 18 range is what we're looking at. There's some in Rogers, Springdale, and Fayetteville. And then the other project that's going on is our bus stop improvement matching grant. So regional planning had approximately $1,000 available to go towards physical bus stop improvements that had to be matched. All of that money has been committed to be matched. Fayetteville City Council on Tuesday approved the matching amount with some partnerships associated with it. And then Rogers is going to have that as part of their 2026 budget. So that'll be finalized, knock on wood, in the coming months. But we'll get all that money spent on bus stop improvements in Fayetteville and in Rogers. Really excited about getting those shelters, benches, bicycle racks, accessibility improvements to make it easier, more convenient for people to use our transit network. The ongoing transit alternatives study scheduled to be wrapped up early December. In July, we had our third stakeholder committee meeting on that project. I'm going to have a full presentation on that project once we get it a little more close to the end for you guys. And then the other regional planning update I wanted to mention, we have, over the last 30 days, we've hired 3 new employees. One of them is our fiscal operations manager. Appreciate Mindy coming over this week and meeting with Stephanie Marpy. It's important that, we're all speaking the same language on the financial side of it. So really appreciate that. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Next up, we have the approval of resolution 8.25.
All right, it provides the employees of Ozark Regional Transit Authority to join the Arkansas Public Employment Retirement System. Whereas Ozark Regional Transit Authority wishes to become members of the Arkansas Public Employee Retirement System, and whereas House Bill 1268 of the Arkansas 95th General Assembly has been engrossed as Act 450 of the regular session, and whereas Section 348 of Act 450 has been amended to include public transit authorities formed under the Public Transit System Act, Arkansas Code annotated 14-334-101 and sequenced, and whereas Ozark Regional Transit Authority was formed under the Public Transit System Act 14-334-101 on April 18th, 2003. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Ozark Regional Transit Authority that The board has confirmed that the Ozark Regional Transit Authority meets all statutory requirements to become a member of the Arkansas Public Employee Retirement System and authorizes the executive director and staff to sign documents necessary to join the Arkansas Public Employee Retirement System. A vote is going to be needed on this.
Okay, do I hear a motion of approval?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the resolution passes.
And then at the end of this, you'll sign it, Mindy will notarize it, and we'll get it over to them.
Sounds good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's see. Next, we have the Act 505 discussion.
So Act 505 has everything to do with, if you haven't read it, I encourage you to go ahead and please read it. Is Tom on board? Okay, I was hoping Tom would be on board. TK, nope. So Act 505 is the act that talks about a lot about in-person meeting versus online meetings. I know it's become a thorn in some of the city sides, I believe, and I want to make sure that we are fully compliant with it. Whereas I believe Bentonville is already allowing people to be not have a voting presence, because that's pretty much what the act says. To vote, you got to be in person. It does apply to political subdivisions of the state. It does apply to subcommittees of a city. So I'm sure that it applies to us. So I wanted to find out where we wanted to go with this. Did we want to go ahead and follow the city's leads in writing an authorization of how we're going to go ahead and manage meetings in person and or online? I'm looking for guidance from the board on this one, on what you want me to do with this.
So has Tom read through this and opined that he believes this does apply to
I will not,
meetings when we're casting votes?
I will not speak for him, but because he's not here, but that's the feedback that I've gotten.
Okay. Well, I mean, personally, I feel like, unless we want to run the risk of having votes that we take be overturned because they're in violation with the law, then like we obviously need to comply. I feel like if there are meetings so in Fayetteville, we're still doing our agenda session meetings. Those are remote, and council members can participate in the agenda session meeting, which is agenda setting, no votes cast, can participate in that. But for the actual meetings themselves, they have to be physically present, is the interpretation we've gotten from our attorney in order to comply with this law. So,
Same in Rogers.
yeah, I think I feel like then, for us, this meeting where we're voting, we need to be in person to be able to vote. As unfortunate as that is, because I think Zoom, personally, I feel like Zoom does afford us a lot of flexibility and opportunity, given, the geographic distribution of the cities. I don't see how we've got any way around this. But I think that other meetings that we have, if we just like executive session.
We don't vote anything on the executive
Yes, we can
session.
still do those remotely.
Yeah.
I think that to me feels safe, and other non-decision making meetings could be done remotely, but in terms of our board meetings.
Does remoting in count towards a quorum?
I do not believe it counts towards a quorum because you're not allowed to vote.
With a proxy though, if you
Right.
promoted any of your proxy to someone
Present.
present,
Correct.
then they would be doing your vote and they would be present. That's still
But
what the city's doing.
like Tim and Dan right now, they are online. We have, and Juliet's online, and Jesse's online. Good God, everybody's online. Any one of them can give anyone that is sitting in the building a proxy. They can still engage. They can still have the discussion. They can still ask questions. They just know that that Peter is going to be voting for Juliet because she gave him his proxy. And yeah. So she'll be here, in conversation, but when it came time for a vote, she would have to trust that Peter's gonna vote, her decision stop. So, I mean, I'm okay with it. Do we need to write something up? Do I have to have Tom draft something for us, that falls in line with all the other cities' directives? Does it need to be adopted, or is it just going to become standard practice?
Quick comment from Bentonville. We're following what Rogers and the other city mentioned, but I think that this actually kicked in August 5th.
Okay,
Yeah, you're correct, Dan. It's already law.
Yeah, we've already, our mural votes, we had a city council person that couldn't vote at the last meeting because they were remote.
I mean, I personally, I think I feel most comfortable if Tom
draft something.
drafted.
Very good.
Like his part about board members participating in the discussion, but giving their proxies. I'm fine with that as long as, I don't think this applies with the law.
Yeah, I agree.
So, but I favor having the Zoom capabilities because sometimes you can't always make it here in person.
I would have it written in case we are in new board members, still know the rules of how these boards operate.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, you could afford, like they're saying, you can basically vote twice. You could have a casting her vote and your vote.
I'm not sure.
So if you have a proxy who's also on the board, so like if I wanted to vote no on something, Peter wanted to vote yes, he would vote my no vote and his yes vote.
Yes, he can. As a proxy, I have Dane's proxy and Dane told me to vote no on this, but I'm voting yes myself.
Yeah, we may need to be a little more, thinking through that. This big, question for the attorney is, if we are holding proxies, I think typically our practice has been just to announce the proxies at the beginning.
Mhm.
But when it came time to voting, we can been specific about, I've got two yes votes.
Right.
Like, do we need to get to that level of specificity and detail with our votes?
Will we put that on a proxy form, or, I mean, I've seen that done, if you want to vote for everybody, write it down on your proxy form.
We can put that on the proxy form, and then we can also go to roll call voting.
And I think generally we haven't done that because we haven't had a lot of like highly contested where some people want to do no and some people, but if we did get to that point, we would definitely need to total specific
Right.
numbers at that point.
Providing proxy as informal as, hey, on Zoom, I want to know.
I have to have it in writing.
That's the internet.
Yeah.
I think if the goal is to have people that are on Zoom still engaged in the conversation, a roll call vote might be easier. That way they don't have to write what their votes are ahead of time.
Right.
It changes based on the conversation.
So we'll get with Tom and his team and have them write up something for us as an entity that outlines how we are going to abide by 505.
Is that something that will take approval later on?
I think we're okay with taking it to the next board meeting.
Okay.
Because that'll be our next opportunity to go ahead and vote, and we just ask that everybody be present and or accounted for. Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Any other discussion on this topic before we move on? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and go to the finance reports committee.
All right, we have our July financials here. In July, revenue had a favorable balance of 16,000, and that was mainly due to some additional contract revenue and miscellaneous revenue. It was decreased a little bit due to a little bit less in fare box and advertising, which advertising has been coming in a little bit lower just due from switching from our person who did our advertising, but we're hoping that should catch up and surpass where we were. But at this point, we're still behind. Our expenditures had a positive variance, and that's mostly due to the delay of APRS. We thought it would start earlier in the year, and just with it getting passed, and when we could pass it, we couldn't get it approved until starting in September. But that's, helped us. And we did have some additional things that took away from that. We've had a lot of transmission repairs this month. And so our repairs were quite a bit, and then wages was a bit over, and we're still running some overtime to be down on our drivers that we're still trying to play catch up on, and hopefully APRS will help some with that since we were getting that in place. But overall, we had a favorable balance of 27,000 for the month and 233 for the year, which is still mainly due to that APRS waiting to be started and some savings in fuel. I went through that kind of quickly, but are there any questions?
I'll move on to the ridership stats.
On the screen, I've got, through into service last night, our ridership, 212,579 passengers aboard fixed on demand. We hit 200,000 passengers in the month of August for the first time in history. So usually, well, as you see last year, we had 190,000 yet. In September 9th last year is when we hit the 200,000 threshold. So we're way ahead of the game and going on our way to continue being a record ridership. 12% increase in ridership compared to last year. You can see the trends of how we are currently averaging about 1,300 passengers a day on the fixed route on demand. In fact, yesterday we almost hit 1,500 passengers just yesterday. In fact, in four times in the month of August, we've almost hit 1,500 passengers. So some exciting ridership totals throughout the system. I'm actually going to turn off the on-demand service and just look at the my graphs update. Here they go. We just kind of look at our fixed route service only. The ridership's up 24% just on the fixed route system throughout the 4 cities. 165,000 passengers. I'll just go through each city real quick. Fayetteville approaching the 100,000 passenger mark and 11.3% ridership. Springdale 42,600, 7.1 increase on their fixed route system, increasing each year. Rogers has pretty much doubled from last year with the changes to the BRC, the 53 and 54. So their riderships is increasing throughout the year. Fell a little bit here in August, but it has been trending up. And then Bentonville is the big winner with a lot of riderships, about 5 times what we did last year with the Bentonville ridership. It's averaging, you can see the trend line of how popular the fixed routes are in Bentonville. Back a couple weeks ago, I was in Bentonville at a bus stop there at 8th and Plains on 8th Street. And a couple ladies was there about to get on the bus, just having a good time. They had lunch. They were on their way to ride the bus back to their office down the street. They had their app in hand, Passio Go. They knew the bus would be there in just a few minutes and just having a great time, just out and about. They left their vehicle in the parking lot and they were able to ride the bus to have lunch at 8th and Plains in Bentonville. They did figure out that our work was our transit, and they begged me to add a route to Centerton back and forth on that congested highway between Bentonville and Centerton. So just throwing it out there. But they were very pleased with the service and a good conversation with them. The Bentonville ridership is, from NWAC all the way to the Bentonville Community Center, and Sam's Club, the hospital, just a lot of good ridership pieces with that fixed route system in place there. So.
What do you attribute that,
Fantastic.
Chris? The parking in Bentonville?
Parking, the frequency between the home office and the new home office area.
Yeah.
All the way to NWAC, the ridership for students going to NWAC, got more opportunities to get connections. So that's really increased it in Bentonville. The more opportunity of service and the frequency of service works for a lot of people as well. And finish up, I'll just quickly jump on on-demand service as a whole. We carried 47,000 passengers on the on-demand through last night. 1,800 passengers have ridden the service. And just to quickly go through each city in the visual here. Bentonville with the one vehicle, a lot of area to cover with one area. So they're still pretty low. It's just a 31% completion rate, 60% seat unavailable rate. It's full all day long, just very, very busy. So Fayetteville service. 75% completion rate all over city of Fayetteville, 2.5 vehicles covering that area. Rogers with the one vehicle in Rogers, it's doing about 56% completion rate, so 35% seat unavailable rate. And then Springdale, the 2 vehicles in Springdale covering the Springdale zone is doing about 81% completion rate throughout the week. So servicing a lot of people, a lot of demand on the on-demand service, and, just turned it off again, I believe I mentioned already, but yeah, 1,800 passengers this year have used the app or City Mapper or called in their office to get their rides. And, it's going well. So that's my update today.
All right, any other questions on this?
Kendall, do you have any kind of metric on the on-demand that would allow us to like compare efficiency of the on-demand systems between the various cities, like passengers per hour?
That's what I was gonna say, passengers.
Is that the best way to look at it?
Yeah,
I'm just kind of curious. I mean, efficiency is sort of based on like how big the area is and how many vehicles you have servicing the area, right?
exactly, yeah. Can't think of how I'd have it right now on the charts graph, but that would be a good metric, I think, for, of course, they are maxed out, so they're doing their 3 to 4 passengers per hour, is about all they can do, depending on the size of the service zone too.
So let's take a look at go to Springdale real quick. The other Springdale, the one that we spoke to. And there, so in the city of Springdale, that's going to be our smallest footprint right now. We've got 2 vehicles providing service in the city. That's our smallest geographical area. And this is what density in ridership in a small area looks like. When we go ahead and we throw in, let's look at Bentonville. Because I believe Bentonville is our largest area. And even though we have a lot of ridership throughout there and we only have 1 vehicle, I honestly believe that adding a second vehicle to Bentonville would not create the same type of efficiency that we have in Springdale because of the smaller area size. When we're looking at the more densely packed traffic up and down the road that we have in Bentonville than we typically see in Springdale, and we have a larger area, the on-demand transit to me has really become that precursor for let's find out where people are, where they want to go, and then we start building a fixed route around it. And then we take that investment in on-demand transit and move it to a new area of town, so that we can see what we should be developing there. That way, we're not actually developing a fixed route for people that aren't there going places they don't want to go. If any of that makes sense.
It does, and one of the
I
things.
think doing the metrics, the passenger per hour based off the size of the footprint, based off of how many hours we have, based off of, I think every time I open my mouth, it's more work for Kendall. And that's what is going through my brain cell right now.
Well, another thought I've got, I've heard Adam talk about this at Razorback Transit is instead of operating on demand as point-to-point service, another theory on how to operate it is operating it as an extension of your fixed route service.
Mhm.
So we'll pick you up at wherever your location is that's beyond our fixed route service, but we're only going to bring you to the fixed route service and then allow that to get you to your final destination, which is a way of potentially shrinking your service area and increasing your efficiency because you're not going to take people as far.
Correct. And that is, we push that a lot individually with our passengers, and we actually push our passengers up in the Bentonville area. I was gonna say we push them off the vehicle, not while it's driving. But we actually, like, we've got an entire neighborhood around the Bentonville Community Center, and we were having a whole lot of requests come out of that neighborhood. And we educated them on, oh, by the way, you walk across the parking lot and there's a fixed route bus there. Because even though they've got the app that shows them everything, the only thing they were focusing on was that on-demand transit trip. There's a lot of one-on-one instruction that goes on. And so if I tell you and you tell 2 friends and they tell 2 friends, eventually we'll get to that point of where our on-demand transit is more efficient because people are using the fixed route as an option for them. But you're absolutely right. Having taken you from the outer rim to the 71 business Route 10 or Route 61 is a perfect example of how to get somebody from, let's say, southeast corner of Fayetteville up to the northwest corner of Springdale. But yes, we will be looking at different metrics, for the next report. Say we have
Good report. Thank you, Kendall.
Yes, you're welcome. All right, there's no other discussion on this. We'll move on to the safety report. I think this is.
Good morning.
Yes.
In your packets, you do have the safety committee meeting notes from May through August that you can review. And you also have the plethora of charts. Just due to time constraints, I'm going to be reviewing the first, second, and third quarter information. So up on the screen is the first quarter. We had a total of 6 accidents. 2 of those accidents were our fault and 4 were not. 3 of those accidents involved property and 3 involved hitting another vehicle. For the second quarter, we had a total of 5 accidents. 4 were at our fault and 2 were not our fault. All those accidents involved another vehicle. 3 of the accidents happened in the afternoon and 2 happened in the morning. For third quarter, we had 5 accidents. 2 were at our fault, 3 were not our fault. All those accidents involved another vehicle, and all those accidents happened in the afternoon. Year to date, we've had 16 accidents. If I compare that to last year, we also had 16 accidents at the same time. In 2024, we ended up with 24 total accidents. I'm hoping that we'll end up at 16 where we're at today for the end of the year. Is there any questions on any of the other charts that were in there?
What would you attribute the higher afternoon accident propensity to?
Well, primarily this is due to lunch hours and high traffic values in the afternoon. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of.
Okay.
And most of them happen on a Monday, if you notice that. The majority of them, and that's just due to post-weekend transition or increased traffic volume or fatigue if they overdid it during the weekend, or distractions. They could be thinking about what they did during the weekend or what's coming up for the week, or just some reasons why Mondays are much higher than the rest of the week.
So interesting.
Could you explain the safety score? Is that like a?
The safety score is based off of motive. Motive looks at 20 different unsafe behaviors. And every week it rates all of our drivers from,
That's like an onboard device?
yeah, we call it motive.
Okay.
But it gives us information on what they're doing unsafe, and it figures out the scores by how many miles they drive. And then I put it down there and then I track it just to see. If you notice that most of our safety scores, I think the last time 74% of them were in good, 17% were excellent, and then I think we had 9% that was considered fair. So most of our drivers, I would probably say 88% of them are in good and excellent categories. We have a few that are in fair.
Okay. And then I guess the only other things I'd just like to know if there's, you see property damage, if there are injury accidents. I think
No.
that's something that we'd like to know, whether it's another motorist or a passenger.
Yeah.
Or,
If it was, I would report it out.
Okay.
We've been very fortunate that we haven't had any injuries to any other parties.
Again, with the road supervisor categories.
Pardon me?
Remind me again with the road supervisor.
The road supervisor is just having someone that goes out and helps bus drivers if they run into a problem. And you see that there's one on there because we had somebody who were in their vehicle during that quarter. And so that's why they show up there.
Any other questions about this?
I just have one comment. This is something that we've gone to in terms of reporting for Vision Zero or other things. We refer to these as crashes rather than accidents. That's kind of the preferred vernacular for reporting.
Well, to be truthful, FTA wants us to report them all as safety events, because that's what they consider them, and then they have the different levels. Because we mention it in the agency safety plan as a note that that's how they want it, but we still report it as accidents, or if you want to hear crashes, we can do that, but
I think I mean, it's not going to make a huge difference, but I think that in a lot of the Vision Zero planning, like for the region, it's referred to as a crash because an accident implies that it was maybe some specific person's to blame, or that it's someone's fault, but there's more of a shared responsibility when it's a crash, because it could be a road design issue, it could be an equipment issue, it could be a number of factors. So that's just,
okay, that's fine.
That's what the region
I
has
can
gone to.
switch the wording to crash.
Yeah,
It's no problem.
okay.
But we're hoping with this motive that we've started using will help start improving the driver safety score, because it gives them like beeps when they start doing something wrong, to kind of say, to try to help.
Yeah, when did that go
correct that
into
behavior.
into effect?
It started going in effect January through February,
Okay.
and it's in all our vehicles, except for, I don't know if it's in the Fords yet. They've been working on it. They're having some technical difficulties with that. But I also do coaching. I get information through them, and then I invite them into my office, and we coach on the different things for unsafe behaviors and how they can prevent that.
Great. That's exciting. Are there dash cams too?
Yeah.
For the vehicle. Great. Yeah.
I mentioned it, but how does this compare to other years, if we know that?
I can report that out at the next meeting if you like, because I have that information.
Okay, sure.
I just didn't know how much charts you wanted to go through, because there could be hundreds. I mean, but I can
Just
compare.
an overall number was what I was looking at, to see if the trend we have is going down, hopefully, but.
There's accidents by year that I have.
Okay.
In 2020 was COVID, so there was a lot less traffic on the roads. That's why that number is so low. But.
Okay. Questions, we'll move on.
Thank you.
Next, we have the communication update, is that, Lakeisha.
Lakeisha, you're up.
All right, so we can go ahead to the next slide. I just want to quickly, as we're transitioning to that, to highlight our 2 new team members, where we promoted 2 drivers from the ORT community. And so that is Savannah, if she'll be our digital media coordinator. And then we also have Mary Cruz Roman, which will be our communications administration support. And so I'm just excited to have them join our communications department. We can go to the next slide. A quick marketing update in regards to this. So we're still continuing to push out messaging through either social media, through the signage, out into our communities, and creating that awareness. Just a really quick highlight in regards to social media in Facebook and Instagram. So our Instagram, within the last 30 days, we've seen a huge increase in regards to page views. We've changed up a little bit as far as how we are pushing some of our messaging out. And so 30 days ago, we started at 1.8K. And I just checked today, our number has actually increased to 7,000 page views on Instagram right now in regards to just our messaging. So there's some juju's working, and we're getting that message out right now to our members in the community. And so we're going to continue to keep that momentum going. Go to the next slide. City Mapper. So this is another thing that we're looking to continue to push in regards to just creating that awareness. And so we're going to be looking to possibly even have some awareness inside our buses, and hopefully also on the outside, but just helping to push the messaging and get more people utilizing the City Mapper app. I'm going to go to the next slide for that. In media mobility, Jeff, if you want to quickly share a very quick update in regards to what you've been doing in regards to that out in the community.
Yeah, so all my numbers are basically from the end of March. We've had technically 7 outreach on-site events. And I say technically 7 because one of those was I think it was kindergarten or first grade teacher that asked us to come to Northwest Arkansas Mall and give the kids a ride around and talk about how to use public transit. So that was more fun than it was work. Then 6 of your typical booth fair type things, some outside, some inside. As far as hours spent since March doing outreach, Fayetteville, I've done a little over 40, Springdale, almost 48, Bentonville, almost 53, and Rogers, a little over 84 hours. We've got some things coming up. The VHSO, which is Veterans Health, something of the
Healthcare
Ozarks.
systems of the Ozark.
What is it?
Healthcare system.
Healthcare System of the Ozarks. Thank you. It's coming up first. It's going to be on September 4th down here at the gardens, the botanical gardens. We got a fall wellness fair at the Rogers Adult Center on September 12th. That's always a good presence for us. A lot of people asking questions. The blind spot awareness, we've got 2 things coming up. Both of those are in October. The first one's National Night Out over here at what was that musical park? I want to say Remy, but I can't remember what it's called. Over there on Old Wire Road, or anyway, it's over there. That's put on by the Fayetteville Police Department.
Gully.
I'm having problems with proper nouns in general. And then we're going to be doing that safety spooktacular again and around Halloween. That'll be at the Arvis Ballpark. That was a huge event last year. A lot of fun. And that's the whole thing. We've got to make it fun and it sneaks some education in on some of these families. So that's basically the gist of it. Yeah, that's the gist of it. Everything else is just details backing all that up.
Okay.
Any questions?
And for the sake of time, we have a link here that you can click on, and you can also go to the Instagram page and you can see, well, if you want to pull on it, you can see a quick example of some of the work that we're doing to kind of continue to make it fun, but engaging to help bring more people to create awareness around our public transit. Oh, here's right here. Thank you. So go to the next slide. Arts and culture really quickly. These are just some quick highlights of all the things that we're doing in the arts and culture world. Another just quick news in regards to the Fayetteville Film Festival. So our Where To film got accepted in it. And so it will be showcasing on September the 19th. And I'll be sending out information. So if you guys want to come and check that film out, hopefully we may get a win out of it. We don't know, but it's another way that we're going to continue to create awareness in regards to that. I do want to thank all the board members that have been coming out to the ride-alongs that have joined me with that. We've been having some really great conversations and great insights on those trips. Go to the next slide. And then lastly, we're still pumping away with the employee wellness program, and we're still gaining engagement with that. And we'll have another graduate actually today here at the studio. And so just excited about the work that we're doing in regards to communications. And thank you guys. Any questions?
And Lakeisha, will you just touch on what we're doing with the Arkansas Transit Association?
Yes. So on September the 30th, we will be taking, you probably saw a quick snippet of it with the mobile art gallery to the Arkansas Transit Conference in Fort Smith. And so we'll have the mobile art gallery up there, and I'll actually be highlighting one of our transit drivers, which is Scott Dornborg, and another artist within the community, where we're highlighting artworks that they have done, a photography with the theme around movement. And so these pieces are all focused on ways that you can engage public transit out into the community.
Thank you.
Questions? I had a question about there were mention of there's some new staff at the beginning. Are those new
Right behind you.
positions? Oh,
No,
okay.
not
Those
new
there's been
positions.
turnover in those positions?
We've had turnover in both of those positions, and we're welcoming both of them here
Okay,
today.
great.
Thank you, Lakeisha. Next, we have the executive director's report.
All right, I've handed everybody the executive director's report, annual audit. Normally we have our audit, relatively completed by now. Unfortunately, on the audit team, there was some, personal issues and they delayed by about a month. So they're gonna be back here. They've been doing the desk audit. Now they're gonna do the in-person stuff here in the next month or so. So we will have it done before the end of the year. I would say,
It
hopefully,
should be wrapped up by the end of September.
Yeah.
When they're supposed to report in.
Yeah.
On it, so.
the ORT CFI grant, the charging fueling infrastructure grant, talked about that. FHWA is radio sound. And I'm talking on both the state level and the federal level. So when something lets loose, I hope that it lets loose soon. We'll be right back at the charging, fueling, and infrastructure program. I'm not giving up on that one. The shelter purchase, we were told initially that we would expect delivery of our 20 shelters by December. They've changed that to sometime in September. So we will have, as soon as they let us know, they're going to give us 48-hour heads up on when it gets on a flatbed or flatbeds plural. And we have a vehicle large enough to pull them off. So we'll be renting a fork truck that's big enough to pull those things off. But I'm thoroughly impressed that Brasco is getting them 2 months in advance to us. National Transit Database, our annual reporting, in here is our letter stating that we have completed our reporting for the year, which is always good to get, that there's no more issues with our transit reporting. And then the final thing is the 2026 operating budget estimate. You have in front of you the 2026 operating budget estimate, and there are 2 secondary pages with it that have 2 different titles. One of them is the 2026 existing service offering plus full Saturday. The option assumes absolutely full Saturday hours, mirroring Friday hours, and the $3 additional economic adjustment for the employees. And the other one is the $3 economic adjustment for the employees without Saturday service offerings. My hope is that each of the cities would look at it. We're really getting pushed a lot for Saturday service, and Saturday service 100% across the board really is one of those things where I hate to say it, I feel strongly about it, but yeah, I feel strongly about the fact that we need to have 100% Saturday service in Northwest Arkansas for the cities, because we need to be acting like the grown-up transportation system that we are. Because next year I'm going to push for Sundays too. Let's take it a step at a time, but let's get our citizens what they deserve in a transit system that works the extended hours and it works the weekend hours. The thing that I've put in both of them is the $3 per hour economic adjustment. Right now we are 17 drivers short, Bobby?
18 as of this morning.
18 drivers short as of this morning out of a staff of 63 we're supposed to have?
61.
61.
Technically.
So we're close to 30% down in operators. And I'm just going to talk operators for a second. I had a chance to be down at University of Arkansas property yesterday and saw on the side of the bus $23 to $27 an hour. Come drive with us. With an advertisement like that, it's no wonder that we are actually losing drivers over there. And I don't blame them for it. I mean, my job is to take these men and women, turn them into better human beings than they ever thought they could be, with greater opportunities. And they're getting some greater opportunities with higher pay over at University of Arkansas. On the maintenance side, I should have 7 and I have 4. On the maintenance side, lost one to $23 an hour. I think was only like $3 an hour more, and lost the other one to a $30 an hour job, which was about $9 an hour more. I've had maintenance guys come in saying, I'm sorry, you paid too low for me to go ahead and come change my career location. Economically, we are behind the eight ball again, and we are way behind the eight ball. We're doing about 17% overtime on a payroll by payroll basis, pay period by pay period basis. And when Franco talks about why did the accidents happen in the afternoon, my initial statement is because I got people full of doubles. That's my personal opinion. And I've got some people that are pouring their guts into this place as far as maintenance, operations, general staff, and there's only so much guts you can pour. And we're going to get more guts poured into it by us doing the Razorback games, which means they're going to be working on Saturdays also. They like that because we make enough money from Razorback football to be able to provide them a $2 an hour bump on everything that they do for the Razorback football games. But again, they're doing that because they want the extra money. It's 10 hours a day, making some decent money, but we're burning them out on the regular workday. We really, really are. And there are times where we actually have to cut routes short. Because we don't have anybody that can actually fill that last 4 hours here or there or whatever. Not the fixed routes. We normally sacrifice ODTs for that because it's better for us to keep the fixed routes going because we only have one bus out there versus having multiple buses on the ODTs. So we're doing everything we can to bring people in, to keep them here. But when they're going out to haul rocks, milk, or college students for up to $5 to $7 an hour more, it's hard to keep them. So I'm asking for the economic adjustment. And I'm also asking for Saturdays. I don't need answers, of course, today, but this is what, if you look at your different cities, this is what's in there. The one thing that I have done is I have followed last year's bouncing ball with the Walton Family Foundation. Last year we went in at 1.3, 1.4 million, and last year they said you're going to reduce it next year again, aren't you? And yes, ma'am, we are. So before I even started doing anything, I'm automatically assuming that it's only going to be $1 million ask to the Walton Family Foundation, split 4 ways. We got our 2.3 million from the feds that are split 4 ways. And of course, if we want to ask, we collectively want to ask the Walton Family Foundation for any more, I will always request that my board go to the foundation first before I go. I will manage the foundation's generosity, but I really believe it's up to the cities to go ahead and ask first. So that's just my opinion. But no, there's no real action needed on this. This is the general information, get it in your hands. So we can set up meetings with your finance committees.
Do we know what Razorback Transit is going to be offering next year?
It will be $1 more.
They declared that.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
So it's going to start out at 24 instead of 20.
Yes. So they've, I'll have to brush off that document I got from Adam in January, but it was $1 more for the next 3 years as starting wage, and then it was going to stabilize.
Yeah, it was $1 more for the next 3 years.
Was that, it was 3 years, okay. So, and where do they get their money? Student fees. No questions about it. You can hide that in the student fee all day long. So.
And the proposal is $3 an hour net, right? Like,
Yeah.
money, not.
Right, because it's about closer to 5.
Yeah, you include benefits and
yeah.
everything else in there. It's
Yeah.
And which employees does that apply to?
Right now it's operators, mechanics, dispatchers.
just to, manage expectations, which I think is important. I don't remember what the percent increase was to Fayetteville. But the amount, this, local government contribution total percent increase is almost 42%.
Yes, sir.
It's a big number.
Yes, sir.
Fayetteville ran a $2 something million budget deficit last year. Haven't seen the numbers yet for this coming year.
Right.
But that large increase is going to be difficult.
Yes, sir. I'm hearing that across the board.
Yeah.
But I would be remiss for not pushing for it and asking.
No, I understand.
But as a community, Northwest Arkansas, I really believe we need to step up and start providing public transit service to the residents that they really deserve. And I believe everybody agrees with that. We just got to find a way to fund it now.
Mm-hmm.
And again, if the request to the foundation is something that somebody wants to spearhead, I will always manage it, but I think the initial request needs to come from the cities. That's all I got. Next board meeting, next executive committee meeting, September 25th. Regular board meeting, October 23rd.
Are there any other items that need to be addressed?
And we do have the EV, is it in the wash bay or the maintenance bay?
I wasn't informed where they landed it.
Okay, okay,
I can find out.
we've got the EV here, if you guys want to crawl around it. So, all right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Hearing no other comments, I adjourn the meeting. Thank you.
Thanks.
It's a small piece of water. That's 5 cans. Oh, okay, I know. Here's the gas for coming out. Big numbers back in there, what? Yeah.
Just saying.
We Oh,